Okay, so we've been. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but this is important. It's newsworthy. We've been talking about what is 2022 going to look like. To what degree will the Republican Party lean towards Trumpism in 2022 or against from Trumpism in 2022? If you look at the polling so far, Trump's popular with most Republican voters. The Republican electorate seems to have no real desire for policy being a thing that plays a prominent role in Republican politics going into 2022. So Trump plans to play kingmaker. And he may well get away with it. And the news now is that Donald Trump is again going back to rallies, upcoming Trump rallies. Max Burns says that the upcoming Trump rallies will help Democrats remind voters why they didn't reelect him. That's a very optimistic perspective on these rallies. Max Burns writes, this summer doesn't mark only the return of family get-togethers and concerts. Starting this month, Donald Trump will also be back in public circulation, headlining a series of grievance-filled summer MAGA rallies. And Max says that that's great news for anxious Democrats. The return of Trump's hours-long rambling rallies is an opportunity to remind the American people that Republican craziness hasn't dialed down a notch since his defeat last year, and to remind Democrats that they have reason to focus on their shared values rather than their increasingly bitter Senate fights. Max Burns goes on to say, by now, most Americans know to expect plenty of disinformation and far-right red meat from Trump rallies, but they have yet to see how a humiliating electoral loss and Trump's delusional claim that he's about to be reinstated as president any day now mix with tried and true Trump classics like spreading election disinformation and whining about cancel culture. After just one Trump rally, Democrats will have plenty of sound bites and offensive content to make the case that Trump has learned nothing during his time out of office, surrounded by yes men at Mar-a-Lago. And while Trump's unhinged claims to be the president of the United States in exile may energize MAGA fundamentalists, they reaffirm to independents and moderates who rejected Trump that he has, if anything, grown more detached from reality in defeat. I don't know that I'm as optimistic as Max Burns, because what you have to remember is that turnout in general is down in midterms. And so I would expect that neither Democrats nor Republicans would see the turnout that they saw in the 2020 presidential election. If Democrats see unhinged Trump rallies, maybe some of them who wouldn't ordinarily vote in a midterm might get out and vote. But it's really the Republicans who have been so deflated by this loss, who stand to gain from seeing Trump continuing to keep going, flying around the country, supporting Marjorie Taylor Greene, supporting this person, that person, whoever the case may be. So for me, it's not as clear. I mean, yeah, Trump will do the rallies and they'll be insane and they'll be unhinged and they'll be depraved and he'll tell corrosive lies about American democracy for sure. But it seems to me that there is much more for Republicans to gain than what there is for Democrats to gain from it. And there's one other thing, and I think this is just a real fear that I have, and I know many in the audience share it because they email me about it. I think that the impact of these rallies that Trump will start reportedly as soon as this month may well incite Trump's supporters to be predisposed to more violence, to another insurrection attempt, to widespread violence against, whoever they perceive to be their enemy on the left. And if you combine Trump rallies in June and July with Trump reportedly starting to say he will be reinstated as president in August, and then when that doesn't happen, I'm worried about another January 6th. And I know that it's becoming very, what's the term? There's this term enlightened centrist that I sometimes use. I want to introduce a new term now. There is a sort of, how could I describe it? And it's almost like a calm, concocted de-escalation that people hear this stuff and they say, that's alarmist. Let's all calm down. We're not going to see this and we're not going to see that. And we're not going to see another January 6th. At this point, anybody who is called an alarmist simply for saying Trump saying stuff publicly could lead people to violence should just point to January 6th. And they're not even hiding their desire for a coup at this point in time. And there is a possibility. I mean, these are people with a propensity to violence. We know that now. There's no question. Look at 400 defendants in the January 6th riot related cases. So I think there's a real possibility that not only do these Trump rallies inspire more Republicans to get out and vote in 2022, if Trump keeps them going, of course, then they will inspire Democrats to get out and vote. It also has the possibility of leading to actual violence. And that's a really, really scary thing. Just a couple other things that Max Burns writes here. Max Burns writes, indeed, Trump's return to the political stage give Democrats a rare opportunity to set aside the disagreements that come from governing just as Biden's honeymoon period is ending. Despite growing impatience among progressives at the obstructionist tactics displayed by Democratic Senators Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona and Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Trump's summer tour will be a bracing reminder that things could be far worse. I think that's probably the best point Max Burns makes in this piece, which is you are starting to see more and more angry Democrats and people on the left saying Biden should have already done this and Biden should have already done that and why he isn't doing this and where's the public option. Those are fair criticisms of Joe Biden, and I've participated in making many of them myself, but I'm not losing sight of the bigger picture here, which is remember what we had the last 4 years. The one thing that these Trump rallies coming back could do is remind us of the craziness that was Trump in comparison to Biden hasn't yet done everything he promised to, and it may sort of be uniting for the left. I think that is plausible, but I do think that the Trump rally leads for points to much more to gain for Republicans than for Democrats. If you disagree, if you agree with Max Burns' take that these Trump rallies will just be great for Democrats going into 2022, I want to hear from you. I just don't see it.